The groovy Jacqueline Bisset, who started her acting career in the mid-60s. Marilyn Monroe in the film Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Cool bike riders in the 70s. Eric Clapton looking groovy in 1967. Tom Petty in the 1970s. Anita Ekberg in the famous fountain scene for the film La Dolce Vita, 1960. Raquel Welch in a spaghetti western movie, Hannie Calder, a 1971 Eastman Color British-made Western Panavision film, also starring Ernest Borgnine, Jack Elam, and Strother Martin. The Rocky Horror Picture Show, 1975. Raquel Welch being interviewed show in 1972. Janis Joplin performing in 1969. Who remembers shopping at Woolworths in the 1960s and 70s? Carrie Fisher and her mother, Debbie Reynolds, in 1956. Anne Margaret and Kirk Douglas in a scene from the 1979 comedy western, The Villain, Jack in the Box, 1973. Los Angeles, 1953. Who remembers when 14-year-old Nadia Comaneci was the first gymnast to win 3 gold medals with 7 perfect 10 scores during the 1976 Olympics? Hot pants and boots. Flight attendants' dress codes sure did change since the 1940s. This is during the 60s. Chaka Khan performing with Rufus at a record launch party in London, 1975. Jennifer Connelly, 1987. The Hanson brothers in the comedy film Slapshot, 1977. A very groovy Dusty Springfield. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno competed in an early 1970s bodybuilding competition. Bob Marley in the Studio, 1972. Caroline Munro on the set of Dracula 1972 Inches in 1972. Dan Aykroyd dancing in The Blues Brothers, 1980. Here's a band Atomic Energy Lab kit that cost $51 back in 1951. James Cain, Marlon Brando, Francis Coppola, Al Pacino, and John Cazale on The Godfather set, 1972. Jefferson Airplane in 1967. Ken Curtis, Burt Reynolds, Gunsmoke model and actress. Cheryl Tiegs back in 1971. Playboy magazine, September 1967. Raquel Welch on the beach back in the day. Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate, 1960s. Sandra Brown was the first African-American woman on the Oakland Police Force in 1970. She is now the senior judge of the United States District Court for the Northern District of California. Sophia Loren always looks great no matter what pose she's in. Stephanie Lynn Nix, best known as Stevie Nicks, on stage, 1970s. Steve Martin, 1977. The great boxer, Muhammad Ali, working out. The talented Osmond brothers, oh, those jumpsuits, 1970s. Who remembers Lady Elaine Fairchild from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood's group of puppets? Some say she was scary. Who remembers the Wicked Witch of the West, played by Margaret Hamilton, from The Wizard of Oz, 1939? Deadpool holding a dead fish in 1983. Happy 42nd birthday wishes to Ryan Reynolds. A smiling Linda Ronstadt getting ready to sing the national anthem at Dodger Stadium in 1977. Andy Warhol shopping for Campbell's Soup, 1965. Anne Margaret and the Swinger, 1966. At any angle, Grace Kelly was stunning, 1954. Author Stephen King at home in Bangor, Maine, 1983. Bruce Lee and his family in 1971. Michael Jordan in the air during a 1988 slam dunk contest. New York City, 1969. Old school glam actress Diana Dors, 1950. Queen posing for their first photo shoot in 1974. Richard Pryor and Pam Grier dated for a while in 1970s. Roller skaters hanging out at Venice Beach, 1979. The Cadillac Cyclone was a concept car built in 1959 and was never mass-produced as a production model. The Jackson 5, sporting some colorful tuxes in the 1970s. Tony Curtis and Sharon Tate on the set of the movie Don't Make Waves, 1967. Vegas Showgirls, photographed by Sammy Davis Jr., 1960s. Waiting in line to see The Godfather in 1972. Yvonne De Carlo, 1954.